In a game that's expected to be a shootout, the Dolphins and the Bills, this game has the highest over-under this week. The point total is set at 53.5, Jay. And is that good news for Gabe Davis right now? He's averaging just a little over 12 points per game in fantasy through the first 3 weeks of the season. Do you ride with Gabe Davis in what should be a shootout?
Not feeling great about it. I think he's a really kind of fringy type of operator. At the same time, he is still the number 2 wide receiver in a Josh Allen offense in a game that is going to be a shootout and the highest total on the board, to your point, Connor. I mean, he's had 15 targets the first 3 weeks. If he's going to average 5 targets a game, he can probably provide value, but he's so boom or bust where, yes, he got the touchdown. He's gotten touchdowns the past 2 weeks, but you're just hoping that he hits a long one, and he's not something that you can really count on, but he does have a ton of upside week to week.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it open here. Look, we always say this with Gabe Davis. You either sort of got to start him every week or never start him. Try to guess when he is going to score, when he's not. Like, he caught the touchdown last week. It was the only pass that he caught. They didn't need to, obviously, because future Hall of Famer Sam Howell was on his way to just a brutal performance. CFL Hall of Famer, screw you.
They love him in Canada already.
They do. Like, they love this show in Canada, too.
They don't.
But, I mean, again, they're playing the Dolphins. Lost in the, again, so much was made of the fact that the Dolphins, put up 70 in this game and had, won by 50, etc. But whatever, the Broncos sort of moved the ball. Yeah. Like, again, and Cortland Sutton catches another touchdown. I mean, whatever, they put up 20 points. Like, I guess the Dolphins, as great as the Dolphins offense is, the Dolphins defense doesn't scare me, right? I mean, no Jalen Ramsey, obviously, he's out as well. Vic Fangio, I think, is a great defensive coordinator, but, I believe the Bills will be able to move the ball against Miami, and so in a game in which it's got the highest over-under and they should be throwing a decent amount, Gabe Davis, who has the second highest target share on the team, now again, it's still only 13%, 14%, because they haven't needed to. They're running the ball, but I'm keeping it up on Gabe Davis. Again, depends on your team, depends on. If you would normally start Gabe Davis, I'm starting him this week.
Yeah, I actually never keep it open for Gabe Davis.
Wow.
I never do, but today I am. He's wide receiver 37. This week I have him generously ranked at wide receiver 33, even though I know he had a good game in week 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks away before he has his next good one. But like you said, the Dolphins defense, they can give it up. The Dolphins defense is more of a situational, opportunistic defense. Like, they could play bend, don't break at the right time. But like you said, in this game where it's 53.5 by far, the biggest total in this game, maybe he'll get that touchdown this game and have 2 catches instead of 1. So I'll keep it open just a teeny little bit.
I think this is the kind of game where just visualize the game. What are the Bills going to be doing? They're going to be running the ball first, second down with James Cook? No, they're going to be throwing a ton. This is what happens every time that Josh Allen is in a game against Patrick Mahomes or against the Dolphins in a shootout. They're going to be throwing a ton, and Gabe Davis is still the number 2 guy in that passing offense.
Yeah, that's why the point total is set where it is. And, I mean, the Bills have to be feeling a little disrespect. I know the Dolphins have been amazing. The Bills have run this division for a couple of years right now, and a lot of people are wondering if that time is over. So I think we'll see a different Bills offense come out in this one. All right, the one we've all been waiting for here, Barry, Jahan Dotson. He's got the Eagles this week. Jahan Dotson just averaging 6.1 points per game in fantasy. That is wide receiver 78. They got the Eagles coming up before the Bears on the short week. Are you closing it out on your boy, Jahan Dotson?
I am, unfortunately, closing it out. Look.
Wow, ice cold.
Oh.
I mean,
Come on, Matthew.
I love him. I love
What are you
him.
doing to your loved ones?
Yeah, but I mean, I have it ranked 47. I mean, I can't.
47th.
It's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say keep it open. I mean, he's had under 25 receiving yards in back-to-back games. He's in fantasy points in every game so far this season. Below a 20% target share so far. They're spreading it around quite a bit. The offense is a little bit inconsistent.
As you see the target share here.
Right, exactly. And by the way, last 2 games, he's been under a 15% target share. So it just, week 1 with McLaurin a little bit banged up with a turf toe. Dotson got some love. Last 2 weeks just hasn't been there. They didn't really, they're spreading it around. Like, again, you see Cole Turner and Logan Thomas there. They're using Curtis Samuel there. And McLaurin, the running backs have been involved as well. So it's good for the Commanders' offense in general, trying to get a bunch of different guys involved. But for us in fantasy, not so much. And then you think about this game coming up at Philadelphia. Eagles' defense looks pretty good. I think Dotson will see, some Slay, some Bradbury. Like, they'll try to move him around a little bit, but just I don't feel great about it. He's going to need a touchdown to pay off, and just how lucky do you feel? So I'm closing it out this week on Dotson. Still believe in the talent, still believe in the overall direction of the Commanders' offense, but this week on Dotson.
The concern would be that they lost the game 37-3. They were in a game script where they needed to throw all the time, and he still didn't really see the work. To be fair, Howell did only throw it 29 times. They just didn't run that many plays, didn't have the ball.
Right. And 4 of those 29 were to the Bills.
Yes, that's true. That's
Right.
true.
So, the fact of the matter is really only 25 pass attempts to the Commanders, because 4 went to the Bills. So,
And those are just the ones they caught.
Yeah, those are just the ones.
So,
Oh, man.
Bad day at the office for future Hall of Famer Sam Howell.
That old quarterback, huh? Whew, man, look.
He's still better than your quarterback.
Hey, he wasn't in week 3. He wasn't in week 2, and he won't be in week 4.
Okay. From fantasy
right.
perspective, possibly,
Hey,
yes.
call
Real
it
life.
what you wanna. They're all the same guys. The Pickett's, the Howells, the Ritters.
all
None of
pretty
them
bad.
is. Their ceiling is all mid. But anyway, being
generous.
that Jahan Dotson is the wide receiver 78, I do still believe in the talent. So I generously rank guys sometimes. I'm generously ranking him 55, 20 spots of ahead where he actually is. The worry is more than just the target share, fellas. It's that it's decreasing every single game as well as his yardage. So, with him being at wide receiver 78 and McLaurin wide receiver 44 and Curtis Samuel 57, I don't like none of this. I wonder why, but I don't like any of this. I will say this.
Yeah.
The Eagles they get these big leads. They've done it at every game this year versus the Patriots, Vikings, and the Bucks, right? These teams, they get behind and they start racking up points. Kirk Cousins did it. Mac Jones threw the ball 50 times. Baker Mayfield got going. So there is a slither of hope. But, if Jahan Dotson goes 7 for 86 and a touchdown, it'll definitely be on my bench. So got to close it out. Jahan Dotson, you still the man, but we got to close it out this week.
Yeah.
Barry, you watch this team closely. Do you think there's something to Eric Bieniemy's offense, too? You kind of hinted at this earlier, that they just spread the ball out to so many different players, not funneling to just McLaurin and Dotson like we kind of thought they would.
Yeah, they're getting everyone involved, and that's credit to Sam Howell, right? It's also been sort of weird game scripts each of the games. So they played Arizona and they were up, and that was kind of rainy conditions first game. Second game they had to make the big comeback against Denver, and so they're using a bunch of different things. And then Sunday against the Bills, they just got their ass kicked. You know what I mean? Just nothing was working, right? It just again, bad day at the office. It just happens, and so. But I do think, again, think about Bieniemy. He came from Kansas City, and so, no, he does not have Patrick Mahomes.
Future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
Another
You sure about that?
I wonder if Mahomes and Howell's busts will be next to each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I wanted to think about that, because they're on the same kind of, they could retire around the same time. Just something interesting to think about.
I will say this,
But
the Commanders.
I was just going to say, but they don't have, the Commanders don't have anyone like Travis Kelce that demands a significant target share. But after Kelce, the Chiefs for years and years and years, other than the Tyreek Hill years, spread it around, get everyone involved. Yeah. And so I wonder if that's what Bieniemy's doing, is coming here and let's get everyone involved.
Yeah,
yes, I do think, to answer your question, yes, I do think there's something to that.
Just don't get the other team involved and they're good.
Yeah.
I will say this, the Commanders' offense, it doesn't make my eyes bleed to watch their offense operate. They still run the ball well, like the Jets, Bears, and Falcons offenses, it's tough to watch those offenses operate. The Commanders at least have something to work with schematically.
When do we see Taylor Heineke? Next week? 2 weeks?
I mean, when we see Taylor Swift on this show.
Right. Yeah, I think we'll see Taylor Heineke.
When are we going to see Jacoby Brissett?
No.
This man just threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, we're against the Bills, David.
Oh, it's against the Bills.
I will say.
What are you going to do against the Eagles?
Hal at least has flashes in a way that Wilson, Pickett, and Ritter just have not this year at all. There's just nothing with those three. But with Hal, at least he looks athletic. He kind of looks the part at times.
He's athletic,
Howell was a top 12 fantasy quarterback in week number 1. He beat the Cowboys last year in the last game of the season as well. Commanders are 2-1. Led the comeback against Denver, which, by the way, shouldn't have been nearly as close as it was. I mean, fluky Hail Mary gets that game closer than it should have been. But the fact of the matter is on the road at Denver, which, again, doesn't look as impressive today as it did a week ago, obviously, having just given up 70. But I would argue that playing at Denver is a tougher thing than Broncos on the road for a 1 o'clock game in September in Miami. Anyway, whatever. But
You got the same record as the Chiefs and the Bills, Matthew.
thank you very much. That's exactly right. Right. Future Hall of Famer Josh Allen, future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes, future Hall of Famer Sam Howell.
Yes.
Lined
Right
up
there, you
just
can
like
see their
that.
busts all in a
Man,
row.
throw Anthony Richardson in there.
There you go.
Different holes, but yes.
Our final tab here, guys. Pat Freiermuth, who has the Texans, the scrappy Texans defense this week. Freiermuth, Jay, this was entering very scary territory after the first 2 weeks. He bounces back in week 3. He gets the touchdown, which the situation with Pat Freiermuth is just he has to score. But the good thing is Kenny Pickett does look his way in the end zone quite a bit.
Yeah, you didn't love the first 2 weeks where he had 2 receptions for 5 yards combined in games where they kind of had to throw a little bit. I mean, look, with Freiermuth, the thing is that you probably have to start him because of where you drafted him. You probably drafted him as your tight end 1 because he's going in that 8 to 10 range among tight ends, and unless you got, Sam Laporta on the back end, you probably need to start him. And look, they did look a little bit better against the Raiders. I wouldn't give up entirely on Kenny Pickett because he did have flashes at the end of last season. And you're in a matchup against the Texans defense that hasn't looked great so far. Hasn't been a complete walkover, but you would think that this is going to be an easier matchup, certainly than Cleveland and San Francisco, where he did nothing.
I'm going to keep it open as well. Look, you mentioned the Texans defense. They're top 10 in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends. And Pat Freiermuth has become a touchdown-dependent tight end like the majority of them.
Yeah, he's Hunter Henry.
I mean, basically, right? But guess what? He has 4 end zone targets this year. That is literally tied for the most in the league so far among tight ends. Him and Travis Kelce lead the NFL in end zone targets among tight ends. He's played 75% of the snaps in back-to-back games. And so given the matchup, given the fact that, he's likely to score, he's got a, better than average chance to score, I'm going to keep it open on him. I'm at tight end 12 this week, so borderline tight end 1, He's a touchdown-dependent tight end, but he's got a decent chance at scoring 1.
Yeah, congrats to Freiermuth for catching 3 passes in this game instead of just 1, right?
Yeah,
That's 2 points right there.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts would kill for that kind of target share.
Hey, he had 5. He had 5. He had 5. But
Sure he did.
hey, Jay got the computer.
Yeah.
Nah, look, man. If you
Do
don't have,
you see the clip of Kyle Pitts just being overthrown?
yeah, I saw the clip, and with Ritter, that's the whole game. I get it. Pat Freiermuth, if you don't have Laporta, if you didn't hit on a guy like that, or you don't have the elite tight ends, how can you sit Freiermuth when he's scoring these touchdowns? Like, that's all you got at tight end right now, so I'm going to leave that open.
Crush your Sunday scaries next weekend with the best remedy possible. Sunday Night Football. Check out NBCSports.com/ScaryGoodSNF to enter for a chance to win a trip for 2 to a Sunday Night Football game next season. And check out our watch party schedule. We're taking our last break. When we're back, early line alert for Week 4, including the Bills as favorites against the Dolphins.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.